Dandadan, the latest anime to take over the anime community. And they did it pretty easily too, low diff. Cause the Blue Lock animators were huffing pain. ReZero Season 3 put up a decent fight. Uzumaki was Uzumaki. And Bleach aired? I didn't know it was airing till I checked for this script. It was radio silent this season. But yeah, Dandadan, the action comedy supernatural shonen about aliens and spirits. It starts as this girl Momo Ayase shows an unusual interest in this boy Ken Takakura. Ken, thinking he's finally made a friend, unloads and reveals everything about himself. His hobbies, his traumas, later his balls. His main thing is his interest in aliens, which Momo doesn't believe in. Instead, she believes in spirits. So in an effort to prove each other wrong, they both venture to creepy places related to spirits and aliens. And because it's a supernatural anime, they find both. The aliens explain sex ed, and then Momo gets psychic powers, and the spirit takes Ken's balls in exchange for a curse. Yes, you did hear that sentence correctly. You know, just talking about some high schooler testicles. In an effort to get them back, Momo and Ken become friends, and a little more than that. And they go on wacky adventures and battles involving the supernatural. Alright, synopsis over. Talking about the characters now. Ken Takakura, or Okarun, our MC, A-. There's only so much you can do with this socially awkward character type. They've been done a million times. For those of you who've played Class of 09, I couldn't help but think of Jeffrey for at least the first half of the show. You're welcome for ruining your character, by the way. I will say, it's refreshing how he sits in the middle of the class instead of this back corner with the window like every protagonist, except they immediately lose that credibility when they put Momo in that spot. The reason I like him, despite seeing his character archetype a million times, is because 1. He's pretty funny sometimes. 2. I like his design. Him going from mushroom haircut to wavy greatness kept him from being mediocre, and I really mean that. I made this meme of him looking like McLovin my profile picture for the time being, and I've seen others with it too. Also his spirit form. He looks like an edgelord, but I can appreciate it because of the design and how vibrant the colors are. And 3. I think he's written well. Usually with this character type, we'll see them do something completely out of character for story's sake. This guy isn't really like that. This is his first friend, and if you've never had a friend before, you obviously don't know how to treat them. But also, he still longs for that companionship on a desperate level. Anything rash he's done has been driven by that need for companionship. So even this mushroom-headed, four-eyed freak who looks like he was one haircut away from sucking toes in the Starbucks bathroom can get an A- from me. Momo Ayase, our other MC? I'm not actually sure because both of them are technically the MC. I haven't seen too many shows where it's a debate who's the main character, so let me know in the comments. A for Ayase. Nope, that was cringe. I apologize. Her design is cool. This delinquent-like character who has a sweet spot for spirits and this boy. She's very intentional and adamant about the things she likes, and it pushes her to do crazy things while not feeling out of place. I love the way she interacts with other characters. Hers are especially fun to watch. However, she is always yelling, which I do gotta dock points for. With her, they tend to keep up the same gag where she's always at odds with everyone and everything, for no reason sometimes. It's cool most of the time, but too much of anything is bad, right? If you were to watch the show all at once, I think you might get annoyed at it. But if you break it up or watched it in its weekly form like I did, you probably don't mind it. We'll go back to that later, cause there's still more characters. But for now, plot. The show has been fun to watch so far, but how does the actual story hold up? Amazingly, surprisingly, wholeheartedly, passionately, economically. This show doesn't take itself seriously. The entire plot is centered around aliens harvesting human bananas and finding balls. The entire plot is just one big dick joke. But it can still be serious, and is better at being serious than some of these new gen anime. This moment, episode 7. This is a dark backstory for a show where the plot is looking for testicles. And another thing, they don't spell everything out for you like a lot of shows are used to doing. They tell you what you need to understand it, then they let you piece together in your own mind. Like, why is this random ugly woman that looks like a diet version of the first boss from Super Mario Odyssey asking this random girl to call her mommy? Just keep watching, and you'll find out in a much more immersive and emotional way than you would if you were just told straight up. But other than that, each episode or few episodes is framed kinda like a cartoon. First, there's some light exposition, then they go on an adventure, then some action and drama happens, then at the end, they unwind at Granny's house. Now tell me that doesn't sound like like a 10-minute cartoon episode. This may sound stupid in writing, but when an anime does this, it's actually super fun. Having a format like this keeps consistent pacing, creates unique situations, and allows for a whole lot of enjoyment. If I had to compare it to an anime, I'd say either Chainsaw Man, Fully Cooley, or Mob Psycho. And would you look at that, the pirate sites agree with me. Because once again, these are all shows that don't always take themselves seriously, but know how to be serious when the time comes for it. I yapped about the same exact thing in my Chainsaw Man video, and about the author who's insane to say the least. Quick little fun fact for you. The author of Dandadan, Yukinobu Tatsu, was an assistant of the author of Chainsaw Man. Once you hear that, you instantly start to see similarities. Maybe there's something special about this crazy, bizarre writing style. Someone should look into that. Also, let me talk about one more thing. These two are in love. Yeah, no, they're not just friends who kiss each other. They actually like each other. So that adds a whole new layer to the plot. Especially when they throw in other characters that cloud up the relationship. Multiple love triangles form. It's also enhanced by the fact that both of them are the MC. So we get the deepest level of understanding of their relationship. Now we're back to the characters. Seiko Ayase, or Granny, or Old Hag, or Auntie, or whatever she goes by. The mommy character that for some reason people were gushing over. Come on guys, she's not even that hot, she just has big bongos. She acts as a kind of mentor slash guide character. Because of her nonchalant dreadhead personality, she's not that involved? I think that's the word I'm gonna use. She just delivers information with not a lot of personal input, which is fine. She's not like a main character, so it's fine that she doesn't do too much. All she does is kinda look cool and be gooner bait. Aida Shidatori, B-. She's a two-faced popular girl. You know, she thinks she's the prettiest and most popular at school because she's never been hip checked. But after one whiff of a testicle, she becomes a delusional homewrecker. She also becomes deluded into believing she's a magical girl, but without the naked transformation. Ah, shit. The reason I gave her a B- is because her delusions bring her up to speed way too quick. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but some of the things that happen, it's like she has nothing in her brain. So whatever she sees makes perfect sense because she had nothing there in the first place. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's what the author was going for. So if that's the case, she can have her grade moved up to a B. GG! I hated him at the start, but now I like him. Mainly because he says slurp a derp. Like, how can you hate a man that proudly proclaims slurp a derp? He comes in around the end of season 1, and I think he's the perfect addition to this little gang. Cause if he didn't do whatever this was and lost all his aura, he would have been too normal for the show. And it's because he's overly goofy that he works so well in interactions. I haven't got to see too much of him though, but I'll give him a B+. Next, I want to talk about the music and animation. There were multiple times during the show where I had to check what studio made this again, because for a studio so unrecognizable, they did such a good job. Science Saru, the studio behind Devilman Crybaby, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, and now Dandadan. They use this less detailed art style, and because of the unseriousness of the show, it works well. But not only that, their scenery and backgrounds look so amazing. This city in the last episode looks so nice. I remember having to pause just to admire it for a second. The action is more than sick. They know how to make their characters look funny at funny times. Sometimes it reminds me of Studio Trigger / Gainax, which is my favorite studio. So for Dandadan, they can get an A-. Music. The only thing in the OST that stood out to me was this insert song, mainly because it was the only thing I could hear at the time. I think this insert song was beautiful. It worked with the scenes perfectly. Definitely helped get directly to your emotions because of the weight of the scene. Oh yeah, honorable mention to this song in episode 4, Like a Fire. I actually did some edits while listening to it. But for the opening and ending, fire. Otonoke, the opening. So fire. Even the visuals for the opening was fire. I made them my Discord banner with the free nitro I got, but I did lose it before getting to this part in the video, so just imagine it looked like this. Creepy Nuts does it again. From Daten with Call of the Night, to Bling Bong with Mashal, to Otonoke with Dandadan. I have thoroughly been a fan of this music duo. In fact, I think they're my third favorite Japanese artist now, if you care about my music taste. When I heard the opening for the first time, I just knew I needed it on my playlist. So I rushed to Spotify, but alas, it wasn't there. They had released the song early somewhere, I don't remember where exactly, but I remember playing it on OS and thinking it was immediately fire. But for a while, it wasn't on any music services. Every day I would check Spotify for it, and every day it wouldn't be there. I don't think it was until the actual anime was dropped that the song was dropped on Spotify. So unfortunately, it didn't have enough time to make it into my Wrapped. So yeah, all that's to say that I give the song a 10 out of 10. Zutomayo's ending was the same deal. I also happily put it on my playlist once it was available. I did skip it in the show though, mainly because I was either grieving that I had to wait another week for an episode, or because I wanted to get to the next episode that I did have stored up. I wanted to dedicate a small part to this moment in the show. End of episode 9. This water fight and the aftermath of it. It's honestly my favorite moment of the show, because this latter half of the episode is the perfect mix between everything, and I mean everything in the show. It's the perfect mix of the show's characters, action, story, visuals, music, animation, literally you name it. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll tippy-toe my way around this. These three are in a dire situation. They have to fight something, but while they're doing it, they're still having their goofy interactions with each other. The animation works with the aliens, making them seem quirky and weird while having them fight at the same time. And then, at the very end, we get the funniest moment in the anime. Actually, second funniest. I really like the cow thing. Actually, third funniest. I really liked episode 1 when he was tweaking out on the floor. Anyway, that was just to say that this moment in episode 9 solidified my score for the anime, which you're about to find out. So after all of this glazing and praise of the show, what is my rating? Well, let's just say at the start of the show, I was set on a 7. They weren't breaking any boundaries, and I didn't dislike it, so I was planning on giving it a 7. But then as I watched on and on, I was like, this isn't your typical anime. They're still making dick jokes, and they're funny. So I bumped up its score to an 8. But I wasn't done there. You see, on top of the pee-pee jokes, on top of the pee-pee. How did I make it out of middle school? On top of the pee-pee jokes, there was actual substance to this anime. The things that were happening were actually entertaining to watch. I found myself on random days saying that I missed Dandadan. So obviously I upped it to a 9. But unfortunately, it couldn't make that push to become a 10. So yeah, 9 is my final rating of the show. This show is amazing. I've enjoyed and loved it very dearly. But it's just missing that something to become a 10. And by 10, I mean best anime ever. Oh, that was obvious. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this as a bad thing, because I really had close to nothing bad to say about the show, except for the fact that they ended off season 1 with a cliffhanger and now we have to wait till July for the next season. But to me, it just doesn't have that thing that I can't explain that makes it a 10. Anyway, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Alright, I'll see ya.